Well, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is suffering a ratings collapse, and Adam Silver is coping about it. He's saying, oh, we still have great interest. You look at social media, you look at TikTok, but if you look at the viewership, it is terrible. It's down significantly. I would say the best thing to compare NBA games, regular season NBA games, would be regular season MLB games. And even with MLB, the situation in terms of how hard it is to get the games, because that's one of the copes that they'll say with the NBA, oh, they could stream it, all these different restrictions, that's what's killing the game. MLB has those same problems, but you don't see the ratings suffer with baseball that they are suffering with basketball. And there's a number of different things. A lot of people pointing to the woke culture that the NBA has virtue signaled to death over the past 5 or 6 years. I mean, remember the NBA, they went to that bubble in Disney World, and they like had players put racial slogans on their back. I mean, that's how bad it got. But that was 4 years ago. Now it's like there's clearly something else at play. I think there's a number of things going on. You've also got people saying maybe they should move the 3-point line back because that's how crazy it is. You've got all these analytical people saying all the players have to do is shoot threes. It's so much, obviously the mid-range shot is now phased out of the game because you take 2 steps back. It's more efficient to shoot a 3-pointer and get that extra point. So every team's attempting 43 pointers now. Nobody's playing defense. There's no accountability from any of these players. They're trying to put these rest restrictions on the national televised games because you've got the people within these organizations trying to optimize when these players should play, and the regular season is meaningless, and you could get injured. You need to play 60 to 65 games. You've got people saying they need to take the regular season game total down from 82 to 74, but the players and the ownership, they won't do it. They want money. That would lose them money if there's less games, there's less revenue. So this is a total mess. And on top of that, you've got probably the number one culprit, which is the inflated scoring in the NBA, which has been going on really the past 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really bad. It's kind of like an extension of what we've seen from the All-Star game, to where the All-Star game was starting to get really bad in terms of the lack of defense, but they'd still play defense during the fourth quarter. And then it got so bad to where it's like, we don't even have a product. Like we have to change the game here, because then they change it to some weird thing. They try and go back to East-West last year. It was terrible. Kevin Durant's come out now. He says the new format, they got like a 3v3 or something where you have these tournament games. It's just all a mess what they're doing, because these players won't try in the All-Star game. And most of the time, I mean, you would think, even back in like 2012, 2013, when the All-Star game was really high scoring, they would at least try in the fourth quarter, and there was like a happy medium, and that was all right. That was fine. But now it's got to the point where it's just ridiculous. So you've got Silver coming out and saying the dip does not equate a lack of interest in pro basketball. There was a lot of interest, mainly overseas, in pro basketball. If you look at other data points in terms of our business, for example, we've just come off the last 2 years of highest attendance in league history. We're at a point where our social media audience is at the highest of any league and continuing to grow exponentially. So it's not for a lack of interest of the game. And then another big problem for them is the NBA Cup, which is completely meaningless. They need to get rid of it immediately. It's a joke, and it is, I mean, you can't even watch these games. It's like you're being attacked with a light bulb because of the courts. The courts are just the most disgusting thing for these NBA Cup games. I don't understand. The NBA how do they continue to get it so wrong? If you go back to like 2007, 2008, you look at the finals, those courts were amazing. They had the big trophy. It looked good, but it was still a court. It wasn't lime green. It's like they want to make the NBA Cup grandiose. Okay, well then just put like a nice cup on there, just do like something to where it's like a trophy. Why does the court have to be orange and like immediately attack your eyes? Like, how is that allowed? I don't even understand how people watch the NBA Cup games with those courts. It's impossible to watch. But I don't even watch the NBA anymore. It's NBA not moving arc back amid uptick in attempted threes. Well, is it really an uptick? It seems like the attempted threes have been going up every year for the past decade or so. But they're not moving it back. I mean, look, the threes are out of control. But listen, this is the number one issue. You take a look at the scoring in this year. Every team is averaging at least 105 points per game. Every team? Seriously? And it's like with the NBA, you would think You look at the NFL, maybe scoring's a little bit down, but it's watchable. If you've just got inflated scoring like this, like if the NFL, if every game in the NFL was like 42 to 32, that would also be unwatchable. You can deal with lower scores, but when games get overinflated, it's just like inflation in the real world where you have to pay like in Venezuela, where you have to pay like $2 million to purchase a candy bar. But like, look at this. Let's just compare it a decade ago and see. I mean, that's just it's night and day. There were the lowest scoring team this year is averaging 105 points. That would be third place in 2014. And this, by the way, this looks like pretty good scoring to me. 2014, 2015, you've got the Warriors at 110. This is really what you want to see. You want to see some teams over 100, under 100. That's pretty good scoring. But now, and it's really been it was bad last year. It was bad the year before. 109 points was the low. Yeah, this is just crap. I mean, nobody's going to watch this. They don't play defense. They just jack up a bunch of threes. Like, let's look at the three-point attempts. 43 attempts. What was the low? 29 attempts. Let's go back to even that Golden State team in 2014. 32. 15. I mean, it's crazy. 33 was low. Back in 2014, 33 was the high. So, I mean, this is a big problem for the NBA. And, I mean, the thing is, you would think more scoring nowadays, would people want instant stimulation. They've got very short attention spans. You want every game to have 140 points, but it's just so watered down. It's so watered down. It's like too much of anything turns out to be not good. You eat cake every day, you're gonna end up getting sick of it, even though it's supposed to be good, it's supposed to taste good. It's a similar thing with scoring. And then these players, you score 40 points, nobody cares, it's meaningless. You score 50 points, it's not even that meaningful anymore. Back in 2014, 2015, you score 50 points, that's a huge game. That's like, there's like 7 of those a year. So, and nowadays it's just such a joke. So for the NBA, and then you've also got this, like, look at this, even Google, really? Seriously? I don't even use Google anymore. Really? This is a celebration? What is this going to bring Giannis to be the greatest player ever? He won an NBA Cup. This is meaningless. It doesn't, and they're trying to hype it up too. Like, look how much money they've invested into this. Look at this. Seriously? It's like a fake trophy. You got to show me the court. Show me a court, though. Like, oh, there's the court. Oh, God. Oh, God. What? How is this a good idea? How do they think people will watch the game with these courts? But you should see the green courts. Look at that. This is not bad. This is okay. But then they have like it's in Vegas. And did you see the crowd in Vegas? Nobody cares. In Vegas, they're all sitting down. What was it? Giannis makes a huge, look at this. I feel bad for Bulls fans. Oh, God. Oh, man. But like in Vegas, they're trying to expand the game because the expansion we would think is coming with Vegas and Seattle. But in Vegas, don't go to Vegas. If NBA is going to do their expansion, it's all for money. So they go to Vegas and they want the gambling aspect of it. But Vegas is not a good crowd. If I was the NBA, I would do an expansion. Give a fun basketball city a team. Give Cincinnati a team. Give Virginia a team. Hampton Roads. But no, they're going to go to Vegas and give Vegas a team. I mean, look at what happened to the Raiders. It's a disaster. Oakland at least had culture. Now the Raiders are in Vegas and it's just a tourist destination. It's a total joke. They just do it for money. It's not actually good for the sport itself. Oh my God. The Bucks won. Like it's what even is this? It's a dinky little graphic you would see in 2007 if you went on the internet. This NBA Cup is terrible. You've got Kevin Durant. I mean, they did try and explain the system to Kevin Durant, and they're like, okay, so there's 10 different teams, and there's 4 players per team, and Kevin Durant's like, bruh, this is hard. But the thing that these players have to understand, they didn't try. They didn't try in East versus West. Kevin Durant said they should go back to East versus West format. The players didn't. I mean, they couldn't do it. You couldn't. The players did not even. It wasn't even like they were warming up. They could not have an actual game because the players were. It was like this the weakest thing we've. I mean, and even back again 10, 12 years, you could have a East versus West game be 160 to 157, but it would still be a good game in the fourth quarter. And by the way, now regular season games are 150, and now teams are scoring 80 points in the first half. It's unbelievable. But I mean, the All-Star game is just a total mess. And I mean, look at the Pro Bowl though. The Pro Bowl is the exact same thing. And the Pro Bowl you can kind of understand more because there's a higher chance of injury when you're talking about the best NFL players colliding, and it's like at the end of the season, why risk an injury going into the offseason? So that's a lot more of a slippery slope. I think they should just get rid of the Pro Bowl. I think they had like what was it, a flag football version? It's just crap. They're trying to make money off of it. I get it, but it's unwatchable. But with the All-Star game, I mean, it felt like even when it got to like the exaggerated scores of higher scores, I mean, it was still watchable. Now it's not even watchable. So then they have to try and change it. But they just get rid of it. I mean, it's now they're doing like 3v3 and all this stuff. Remember they had like Team Giannis and Team LeBron. And it's just weird. Like imagine you're a pro player. It's like I'm on Team LeBron. Is that not a little strange? It's just strange. I don't know. But yeah, so this is just a mess. Overseas, yeah, they're banking on the interest in China. They've got a lot of Chinese interest, and that's a problem because there's a lot of Chinese influence over the NBA, and we know that's been an issue the past few decades. But they're banking on that interest for sure. Future of NBA Cup in Vegas. Get rid of the NBA Cup. He still defend the idea of an NBA Cup remaining in Vegas. It shouldn't be anywhere. You should eliminate it. It's a waste of time. It is meaningless. It must make them money if they're seriously going to continue this. I wonder if they'll at least get rid of the color of floors. The courts need to stop with the colors. But they're like, oh yeah, Vegas. They want a team in Vegas. That's why they're trying the expansion. But either way, what a mess this NBA is. And yeah, you want to talk about, listen, when you do the virtue signaling where you have players put racial slogans on their backs, I mean, that's just ridiculous. You think people are going to tune in for that? And listen, you can say that's back in 2020, but this is all coming together, and it's also the players not trying, and the players only playing 60 games a year, and they sit out like the second game of the regular season. This is a terrible product. It's just a terrible product, so people are not going to watch, and it's going to continue to fall. They need to address the three-point situation. I would move it back. It should have been moved back 3 years ago. These scores are just like when every team starts averaging 110 points per game, something drastic must be done to improve the health of the game. And I think they're like, well, it's stimulation. Everyone wants to see all these high-scoring games, and the young kids like it and stuff. And that's why they brag about TikTok audiences and stuff. It's all meaningless. It's all crap. I mean, the ratings are down overall because this is a bad product, and they do the virtue signaling, and they do the wokeness. Liberals get real angry when you bring up wokeness, but it's definitely it's. I mean, look at what happened in 2020 with the NBA and what they did. It's all over. Look at what happened with the courts, and the players kneeling when the NBA. So that's the current situation with this, and we'll see. I don't think it's going to get any better. They need to get rid of the NBA Cup. They need to move the three-point line back. They need, I don't even know. You can't even do anything for the All-Star game because you can't force players to play hard. And also, the play-ins need to get eliminated. It's just 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, 4v5. That's what I would say for the playoffs. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.